Then you laid out on the floor, try to duck and roll, hit and miss, now you counting stars. Should've practiced more, should've hit the mask, get out there more, claim that you're the best. You gotta show me, son, actions over words, baby boy, is you real or what? Talking way too much, world come back sports, talking way too much, world come back sports, talking way too much, world come back
Gang, you already know what it is. We're back with another one. 2025 is about to jumpstart the last week of January, and from this month after, this is when the fights are gonna start jumping. This is when we should have damn near a pretty decent competitive contest each month, heading all the way to the end of the year. I know it's still early, but this is pretty much the last week before some of these fight cards pop off. That's really gonna change things up when it comes to the makeup of the ranking systems and some of the big names that's out there. You know what I'm saying? The showdowns is on deck. Not just any showdowns, but these showdowns supposed to consist of names that's in the sport, that's familiar, popular names that we look forward to seeing in a championship fight, champions we look forward to defending their belt. You know what I'm saying? But shout out to everyone who support the channel. You already know, if it's in you to support and hit the button, then you'll do so. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's pretty much the way it is. That's pretty much the way it's always been. So let's get down to where is it? Let me see. I want to show y'all something right quick. I mentioned this a time before on, when the Marine Corps used to have these grappling matches in the dirt. Of course you're gonna have your naysayers and all that. But I'm just saying, we did stuff that was different. For real, we did stuff that was different. We grappled in the sand. And you're probably saying, why would you do that? Well, it's a lot of areas in grappling that present you with these scenarios that you got to fight through, adverse scenarios. I just want to show you a short clip of this right here of, some of that going on. I just wanted to show you that short little clip. Nothing crazy. You know what I'm saying? We did a lot of stuff that, I always try to tell people, like, if you're on the outside, a civilian, and you say you got a 17-year-old, right? If you want to look at what that 17-year-old is not able to do, then some people may look at it and be like, man, that's too much. Oh, that 17-year-old don't supposed to be doing that. Oh, they can't do that. What you're being a little bit too harsh on the 17-year-old. Or when it comes to dating, right? When it comes to dating, I'm gonna get to the topic, but I just want to lay this out here, right? When it comes to dating, people say, "Oh man, 17-year-old, you can be 19. Oh man, you can be dating a 17-year-old. 18 can be dating a 17-year-old. Even a 17-year-old, man, you might want to think about dating a 17-year-old. I know you're 17 too, but you turn 18 in 3 months and all that, right? Check this out. People have no idea. They always, in my opinion, some people, they'll just sit up here and try to brush the military off because for some, they wasn't able to accomplish it, right? But a person like myself, I don't look down on what I was able to do as far as anybody that I associate myself with in life. I never have been that way. I've had more people look a certain way at me, you know, based off you just being in the military and working for the white man. You know what I'm saying? That's what they told me. They say, you working for the white man out there. You following orders. You can't think for yourself. So back to the 17-year-old, that went in myself working for the white man. Do you know when I got in at 17 years old, right? Boot camp alone have you doing things that if you just take a regular civilian 17-year-old, they would say that it's child abuse. They would say it's inhumane. I guess that don't transfer over to the military. Because the time you step on the footprints on Paris Island, you have a whole nother situation on your hands. Mommy and daddy ain't around. If you mention mommy and daddy, they're going to look at you like, listen, it's one or two things that's going to happen. You know what I'm saying? Either you're going to go into this knowing what your goals is to become a U.S. Marine and understand that there's going to be trials. We're going to test you. It's going to be adversity. It's going to be challenges that you ain't never experienced in your 17 years of life. Do you understand me? So you either get it together. Either you want to be a part of the USMC or you want to go back home. But understand one thing. It's not easy as you think just going back home. You're not getting out of here that easy. They're going to tell you straight to your face, you're basically going to have to quit. All that whining and crying you're doing, it's not going to matter. And one of the reasons, that I feel the need, because some people just like, they look at the military, I guess you have so many political activists, and they look at the military as one of those, like, I don't even want to show them love, okay, they went in there in the military, did this, whatever. That was your dumb ass fault. Y'all come up out of there, all fucked up anyway and all this other shit. And once again, I don't really look too in depth about people's perception of the military. It's not for everybody. Now, if you want to go in the Air Force, Navy, the Army, cool. But you got to be cut from a different cloth to go into the Corps, man. That's just the way it is. You got to be cut from a different cloth. That's just point blank period situations that you have to experience that gonna have you, question the decision you made. That's just the way it is, period. But when it comes down to combat sports, man, it gives you the opportunity to travel to different countries and dibble and dabble in different schools, different senseis, different professors, And you say to yourself, man, I wish I could have stayed over there and just locked in, man. I would have been so skilled in this. But you can't, Like some of the arts that I dabbled in Japan, I couldn't stay there. When they find out you leaving, they say, hey, you can stay over here. You know that. You don't have to do that. No, then look, no. I can't stay over here. I got this much time in the military. I'm not jumping out now. You know what I'm saying? I'm not jumping out now. But that's the way they, the factors, the variables that you have to, deal with when you go in at such a young age. I mean, the combat sports, you meet some incredible people in these other countries, just like Thailand. Seeing how those kids, how they legs look, and the brutality of the training that they have to go through in Muay Thai, and they would be considered child abuse over here. But I had to see it. I had to go to Thailand. I said, I gotta go over there. I wanna go over there and learn something from deep down in the gutter. And that shit is tough, man. Them kids, man, No wonder they come over here to the U.S. and they tough as hell. They got on them scars because they go through hell over there. Something that a kid over here, if you was to be running a school like that, it's no way the parents, unless your parents different and they was in the military and they went and they're martial artists, they're the only ones. There's no way that you're going to be able to have an American teacher, a professor, sensei over here teaching kids with that much instructional force that them parents not going to try to freaking take their kid out of school. And so it's different. It's different. I want to show you something else right quick before I get to the topics. I just didn't want to like rush into, I mean, boxing, man, this is the last week. Boxing is going to, be here regardless, bro. You know what I'm saying? I want to show you something else that I absolutely enjoy, being gung-ho in my day. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, when you communicate with people over here, I don't know, man. People get, they get a quick, impulsive understanding of who they think you are. Vice who you actually, what I'm saying, is internally. That can be a dangerous game, man, because social media has this, like, I wouldn't say a template, but it has an effect, or it has I don't want to say an error or a template, but it has a certain routine. That's the word I want to use. Social media has a routine to it that allows people to go through the same back and forth all the time. The way they approach these platforms, the way they communicate with people, what their perception is of certain people, how they gauge you as a human being. It's just a routine they go through. And they start to get themselves into a brainwash type of routine where they get used to basically, feeling some type of way about people they don't know anything about in real life, But let me show you something right quick. This right here, this right here is a big deal to me because I kind of cracked the code. I did. I cracked the code. The first half of this live is gonna be about me. You know what I'm saying? It's just some areas that you certain people just give you this umbrella of perception of judgment, and you're like, where did you get that from? What gave you that impression? I don't get it. I don't get that impression, bro. Where do you get that from? So this is the 1st Battalion, which I was in down at Paris Island, and this is my last platoon. Okay, this is not the first time I put it up here, right? It won't be the last, but the reason why I'm putting it up there because I was very competitive. I was one of those persons that ate right, and like I said before, when I went to the clubs, man, don't ask me what I was thinking. I used to go to the clubs, and I may be out there drinking a little bit. I come home and everybody just want to crash out. I go put on my PT gear and go running, bro. I mean, my mentality was, I want to. I don't know what my mentality was. It was just over the edge a bit. And I used to go on these runs by myself. So when I got down to the Paris Island, when I started, when I was in a position to be senior drill instructor in charge of my platoon, I led by example. When you see civilians coming there trying to be Marines, they look at you and they say, okay, this cat right here, he kind of different. See, with my boys, I had them, when they had a problem with each other, I had them grapple. We grappled. I'm not going to get into detail of our grappling sessions, but I grappled. We grappled. We handled our business grappling. And just think about that. That was back in the 90s, bro. You know? But this is my last platoon, man. We broke the PFT record, and our average was incredible. You know what I'm saying? This average, you're talking about a maximum score for an individual Marine maxing out on the PFT is 300. Now the physical fitness test has since changed since we did it. You know, they have the CFT and all that. That's why this is so historical, because the old record was 262. The old record was 262. Me and my boys broke that with a 283 now. The maximum scores are 300. There's a lot of people that may look at that and say, you know, that don't matter too much to me. I get it. But you try taking some civilians and mold them into a hard charging fighting platoon, knowing what the end game is, especially when it comes to competition. Not only did we win this, but I'm not even going to show the picture. We got honor platoon. We swept everything. We swept everything. Knowledge. Final drill. You know what I'm saying? Rifle range. We swept everything. No cap. I used to go above and beyond the teaching. I love competition. And within that competition, others that didn't have the same drive, they frowned. You know, they scoffed at what I was doing. They say, that nigga too over the top. You know, I had, you know, I'm talking about my people, non-black people. You know, I mean, they'll look at you like, yeah, you hard charging, but you go over the top. Look, I didn't act like this out of uniform. I'm chilling. I did me. But when I was in uniform, though, when I had things to do down there at Paris Island, I loved being in there able to teach my boys certain things about life in general and what it's going to take for them in the Corps. Now, I wasn't an AJ stellar Marine, not because I was a shitbag. It's the fact that I stood up for what was right. I was never part of the good boy network. And also when I was in the Paris Island, I stood up for my boys. You know what I'm saying? So they understood what the mission was. The mission was to go out there and do something that's never been done on Paris Island or San Diego Recruit Depot. I'm talking about a 17-year-old out of freaking the A, going in there, no family members in the military at all, and having this ability to go out here and immerse myself amongst other young adults and able to teach them to the point where they want to listen. I mean, this platoon right here, when it came down to understanding what the end game was, we're talking about they got it. Because they say I led by example. They say they used to, you know, they'll be out with, you know, because I had two other drill instructors, they'll have them out and they'll see me out there doing something, you know, P10 or doing whatever. I wasn't worried about what they seen. I was doing me. I was staying in shape. I was doing this, that, and the other. But they told me, they said, hey, I like how you led by example. I like how you stood up for us. I like how you did your own thing, you know, amongst other hats. You know what I'm saying? You didn't let us get taken advantage of, even though we're in boot camp. You didn't allow other drill instructors to dog us out, IT us for no reason. You know what I'm saying? And look, when I look at my ability to go up here and break a record that was long standing like this, it allows me, I mean, when I'm on here, I have moments where I think like some of these cats don't know what it's like to be a leader. You know, I'm not here to lead anybody. I'm just saying when I was on deck to lead, I led. In the process of being a leader, you're not going to please everybody. But this right here, it's never going to be broken. I put this up, you know, Marine Corps, boot camp sites, and people say, yeah, I heard about you, and others would be like, oh man, it's been broken already. You're lying. Look, think about it. The maximum, that means in order for you to break that, you have to get your boys have to we had 3 sections. We had the run, and we had crunches at the time, and we had pull-ups. Okay? The core has changed now. So the grading system is different now. So therefore, from when I broke this record from the old traditional PFT, that has since transferred over to the new system, which is quite, a bit easier than when we went through. In order for you to max out at 100 for the crunches, you had to complete 100, and every crunch below 100 was that what you get. So if you did 70, you got 70 points. You know what I'm saying? Pull-ups. Pull-ups was different. You had to do dead hang pull-ups, and each pull-up was worth 5 points. A maximum of 20 will get you 100. A maximum of 20 dead hang pull-ups will get you 100 points. Okay? 5 points per 20. Okay? That would get you 100 points. And then the formula for the run was different. They had the, time you come in, they had a certain grading scale. But if you look on here, my boys ran a 1904 average, y'all. A 1904 average. 1904 average. Our pull-ups was 18.12 pull-ups across the platoon. That means my boys' average per recruit was 18 pull-ups. That's because I had them boys working out. Every time they had to go to the bathroom, they had their canteens on, and they had to jump on the pull-up bar. They come out that dang head, as we call it, you jump on the pull-up bar. Before senior drill instructor time, he was doing some crunches. We had a certain number of crunches. Also, I made sure they get their nutrition. You can't build a well-oiled fight machine without nutrition. I made sure they ate. Now Marine Corps boot camp, we don't have all that stuff that the Air Force and Navy and them got and all them chow hall where you get to pick and choose what you want in your omelet and all that. No. I'm talking about all the other necessities that was allowable for their parents to send them. That was nutritional value to the recruit to keep them built. But yeah, this is something I consider legendary in itself, because 1st Recruit Training Battalion, you know what I'm saying, that record was up there. I used to hear people talking about it. I say that record is not difficult to beat. And, it just seems like so many people's like, man, please. To get this amount of, recruits to do this, and this, you had to have a plan. The platoon before this platoon almost broke it. The 262 almost broke it. But I just had, I had a couple of what we call fat bodies that dropped weight, but yet internally they were still fat. They was lazy. You know what I'm saying? They graduated, but they didn't understand what the end game was. These boys right here, I pretty much trimmed down to only the recruits that was ready for the mission. Don't ask me how I did it. I just instinctively knew who to keep and who to release. It's not like they was released from boot camp. Some of them got released to other platoons, because not every drill instructor has a purpose down there other than just going through the motions and training their boys and going home. I wanted to go down there, and I wanted to teach, and I wanted to see what the results was going to be like. And this is one of my results. My last platoon, that record always stand, period. No matter what happened. It might have changed up now with the way they do but the traditional PFT way back in the day, that's where I broke the record at. The traditional PFT for the U.S. Marine Corps. Can't nobody take it away. This is the newspaper. This is the newspaper that came out in Beaufort, South Carolina. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's me in the middle. Much smaller back then. That's me in the middle. And you see what the article says. I just want to throw that up there. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to throw that up there. I got two more points, about me, because I rarely even talk about the guy when I was back there, able and ready. This right here, you're probably saying to yourself, why is he putting this station wagon up here? You know what I'm saying? Why? Hold on for a second. So this car right here, um, this is like called a Country Squire. This is like one of the longest freaking cars you can ever have. At one point in time growing up, mom had this car. All right? Mama tell you. Mama tell you herself. No need to lie about it. I started driving in 5th grade. Okay? Now, like I said before, we had no social media back then. All right? The first car that I ever drove in my young life as a 5th grader was this baby right here. This station wagon right here. I used to watch mom drive that. The whole process of go, reverse, park. I already knew the P, you didn't go anywhere. The D mean it goes forward. The R mean it goes backwards. In the end, it just stayed in one place like park, but the car can roll. That's what I knew. So I was good. I was taking the car at night. 5th grade. I was taking the car at night because back then my parents used to leave the keys hanging up on the wall. No alarms, you know what I'm saying? Just traditional stuff back then. It really not like it is today. So I remember saying to myself, okay, the car doesn't sound that loud. How am I going to get this big boat at the end of the driveway? Because Pops used to park his truck on the street. Okay? Because he had to get up and go to work. So I put that joint in neutral. And because I'm like, it was no YouTube back then. I couldn't look it up. So that big boat rolled back. I found out, I was like, oh, okay, let me try to get used to the brake. Because I'm not all the way at my growth spurt right then. I learned how to roll that joint up, start it up. Don't ask me where the neighbor's at. Because back then, all the household had like 3 to 4 kids in that joint. But, I always battle insomnia, man. You know what I'm saying? So I started up, and I remember going for a ride in this wagon. I mean, just the way I was sitting, I only think I was sitting on the seat all the way correctly. I was like, I don't know how I did it, but back then those cars had bench seats. They had one seat all the way across. They didn't have no power seats. So I took it up for a ride, man, not even worrying about the police or nothing. The windows wasn't tinted or anything. When I took that joint for a ride, man, I felt so good, man. It was so peaceful and shit. I took that boat all around Atlanta. Bro, I can't tell you where I drove, man. But I was driving through the streets, man. It seemed like nobody was on the street except me. In this big ass wagon, bro. When I started to come back home, I thought about it. I said, you know what? I haven't really been paying attention to where I was going. Look, we didn't have no GPS back then. We didn't have shit. I said, oh shit. I'm just up here cruising around. How do I get the fuck home? But I remembered the school bus. I remembered the school bus like a genius. I said, I know where this landmark at. I need to go back to that landmark, and I'm going to take the school bus route home. So I found out where that particular store was. Boom. Took the school bus route home. Brought it up the street. Parked it. Went back. Put the keys up. And you know how they say you feel like a different man? After you get, you had your first, you pop the cherry. Shit, dude. Hey, dog. I felt like I just came back from the strip club, dog. Man, when I pulled that wagon up there, put them keys back, man, I went and hopped back in the bed because back then it was bunk beds, y'all. You know what I'm saying? It was bunk beds. So, I stayed in the room with three. So I hopped up on the bed, man. I wasn't sleepy at all. I was just full with adrenaline. I was like, wow, that's amazing. Man, that felt so good. I can't wait. I'm only in fifth grade now. I know it ain't no time I'm getting my license. So I'm saying to myself, I gotta chill. I gotta make sure I don't get caught. So throughout the years, as Pops was getting different cars, we had a box Chevy. We had, my brother had some sport cars. I rock Camaro, Mustang, and shit. Dad had some Ford trucks, and shit like that. And I guarantee you, I drove damn near all of them. And the wild part about, as I was getting older, I told you I went through a growth spurt, 11 and 12, and grew to 6 feet. When I grew to 6 feet, when I started to really go through puberty early, and I got acne on, grew the fuck up. It was kind of stressful at school going through the acne process. Driving them cars at night used to be my relief. You know what I'm saying? Driving the cars at night used to be relief, man, because it just feels so peaceful driving on the road at night, man. So, all the cars, my pops got, even for mom, I drove all of them while I was here. I drove all of them. I didn't get exposed, as the word they love using on YouTube, until my pops, who worked at GM, he's passed. Shout out to Pops, man. He had an S10 Blazer made off the assembly line, brand new. Back then, if anybody know, it was S10 Blazers was a shit. Come on, man. Them joints was the shit back then. It was just like getting a Escalade, a Denali. Man, them S10 Blazers came out. They was compact, but they was just big enough, man, to put some rims on. Pops had his made off the assembly line. Him and his people. GM, he bought the truck and they made that shit off the assembly line of GM, right? Brand spanking new. I had drove that joint, man, several times. It was this one night, I got a little bit too anxious because I used to go up there to the races. And they wanted me to be there just a little earlier. I left the house, went up there too early because the neighbors had some older kids that used to stay out. See, years have went by now. We're getting much older now. And we got some neighbors that's out of school now. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to like puberty, I'm 13, I'm driving and shit, 14. But when I had that growth spurt, it was easy for me to drive because obviously I can reach the pedal better and all that. Plus, when I finally found out what the races were over here, I used to go to the races all the time. That's where I learned how to ride bikes. But I didn't have a problem with somebody questioning who I was because they thought that was my shit. They thought I was, either a senior in high school or out. So I was rolling Pops freaking Blazer down, man. Started that joint up. And my neighbors, his two sons, was out in the driveway talking to somebody else. And I stopped. I even stopped. I cracked the window. The windows was rolled down back then, right? I said, man, I'll be right back. I thought they heard me. Man, they went over there and snitched on me, bro. They went on there. I think your truck has been stolen. I could have sworn I rolled down the window low enough and said, hey, man, don't sweat it, man. I'll be back. I mean, I'm looking dead at them. And they say they thought somebody was still in the truck. You know what I'm saying? I give them the benefit of the doubt. They may not have known because I usually do it like 2 o'clock in the morning. something like that. But this was a little bit after 12 going on 1. Dad was asleep. He had to get up for work. So God damn it, when I pulled my ass back up in that motherfucking on that street and mom's car was gone, I said, God damn. I said, oh my God, man. I said, it's gonna be hell when he get back in this mouth. Man, I said, I just have to take it. You know what I'm saying? At that point in time, I was much older. You know what I'm saying? I was like, I even got to a point where I was defiant. I said, I was going to tell her, all I did was take the car for a ride. Shit, I got my license. You know, come on, bro. It's just, I wasn't supposed to be taking their ride. I had my learners. I wasn't supposed to take their ride. They didn't know I was driving. Look, I got my license and nobody taught me how to drive. That's crazy. That should have been a red flag to them already. I got my learn. Look, this is on God, bro. I don't bet nothing on my kids, even though I had a kid that passed. You know how people are, oh, my dead kid. No, I'm not doing that. But this is on everything that I love, old school. I went and got my license in this station wagon right here. That is no lie, man. I paralleled this car right here in one try. And mom was in the back. And she's like, dang, that's better than I ever did. You know what I'm saying? Like that's better than I ever, did. I can't believe you drove that car like that. That's amazing. You know what I'm saying? Even the whoever, what you call them, the driver license, the instructor, whatever, the monitor. And I say, man, this car is very long. You parallel parked it without even going forward and back. I just parallel parked. 'Cause I did it so many times before, parking on the side of the street when I went up there to the races. But I just wanted to throw that out there. You know what I'm saying? I just want to throw that out there. And lastly, I know a lot of people see me put this picture up there. This is a picture that means near and dear to my heart because so many cats, when they come to motorcycles, they always think about what? Danger, death, right? At one point in time, in my younger years while I was taking the car, there's some country boys up here in GA that taught me how to ride a bike. I started on dirt bikes and then I started on street bikes because back then I was skinny and I was tall. And they say, man, you need to start coming here racing, this, that, and that. They didn't know too much anything about me. They didn't know where I lived. They didn't know shit. But them country boys, I'm talking about some black cats too that was country. You know what I'm saying? And the white guys, man, they used to bring them dang old school cars out there. I didn't even know there was any such thing as black country. But I guess down here in Georgia it was. They used to bring them old school box Chevys out running and shit. I was like, damn. So they had the cars and the bikes. You know, a lot of shit that you do when you got the land for it. Right? So when I learned how to ride, I never thought I would get so acclimated to it so quickly, just to the gear shift, the throttle, you know what I'm saying, the clutching and all that. You know, I didn't think I did some crazy shit, climbing high ass trees and doing some weird shit. That the average person ain't gonna do because it was just too dangerous. But getting acclimated to bikes the way I did, it kind of, I didn't think nothing of it. I was like, okay, I learned how to ride a bike. I remember when Pops getting my older brother a bike, right? It was a dirt bike. And I remember my older brother getting on it and running it through the fence, man. I wanted to go over there so bad and pick that thing up and ride it. I mean, I remember when he parked it in the shed, and that thing was just sitting out there for a week. And I say, well, I can't get on it because time I crank that shit up and ride it, because we had a big ass backyard, it's gonna be a problem because that was just my older brother's bike, period. So I wanted to, man, I really wanted to say, okay, I know how to ride that, but I didn't want, at that point in time, I didn't want Papa asking me how I learned how to ride. That was before I actually got caught. Anyway, them country boys taught me how to ride motorcycles. When I went to my first duty station, I had Marines who was in the bikes. No one never knew I rode bikes, man. I just used to watch these guys. I said, man, I'm gonna get me one of those one day. I was hearing the Marines crashing and shit, getting hurt, and it just didn't dawn on me. I was like, that ain't me. Why are they crashing? What are they doing? And then I used to see someone riding, and they was just speeding for no damn reason. They really didn't have no freaking instructions. No ride time, no seat time, as we call it. They didn't have enough seat time to go out here and buy these ninjas that was fast and shit. So when I actually start, like, finally, putting myself out there, I remember I asked this guy, I said, can I ride for it? Can I ride your shit? Man, you crashed it, you bought it. You crashed it, you bought it. I say, bro, that's the language they use now. Okay, you crashed it, you bought it. Okay. I got on that motherfucker, eased it, boom, boom, boom. Started hitting it, got on it a little bit. And then it was like, oh, you rode before. How your young ass up here riding? You ain't got no bike? I said, I know. I ain't telling the story or nothing. But as I got into the groove and got old, I started really getting into bikes. And the reason why this picture means a lot is because I was one of the only black men that used to knee drag like this in the Corps. Look, I'm 6'3", right? I'm 200 plus pounds on this mother. I'm not a light motherfucker, but let me tell you something that was super strange to me. I met white riders, right? That they taught me another level to dirt bike riding, like wheelies and shit. I never was a wheelie guy like that. I could wheelie, both sitting down, standing. I could do that. But the way they do it was different from riding the dirt bikes. And then I got to the black riders. The black riders, all they wanted to do is go straight. That's all they wanted to do is go straight all the freaking time. They wanted to take off fast from the line. They couldn't do shit else, bro. They can, I take that back. Some of them can ride wheelies, you know what I'm saying, and go straight. That's it. They can ride a wheelie sitting down. But the white riders, they used to stand up on them motherfuckers. They used to do some crazy shit. But I don't know what it was, man. I end up getting used to the adrenaline of going into curves. And I got into GB Pro Racing. The magazine started looking. I say, man, I like that. And at that time, it wasn't no other black that I knew that was dragging pucks, man. And when I went over to Japan, I told some people this before on how it's so difficult. I got a picture that it's probably like, I'll say 30 to 40 Japanese in there and only 2 Americans, black Americans at that. And the other guy was a friend of mine that was married to a Japanese girl that had a badass Suzuki. And he knew a lot of the Japanese, and he said, hey man, I want to introduce you to my group. But I don't know if they're gonna let you ride in it, because I see how you ride and you might can learn something from them. So he introduced me to the group. And then I started seeing them out when I was by myself. I used to go out during the daytime, but then I used to go at night. And everybody I told this story to, they was like, oh man, that's bullshit. Why would you ride at night, man? That's dangerous. I know. That shit was extremely dangerous, not to me. I just felt at peace. Like, it took me back to when I was in cars, when I was driving as a youngin'. I was just out there cruising, man. I was chilling. So when I started taking the bike out there, by then I learned what I needed to enhance the bike and get it ready for turns. You know what I'm saying? So I said, you know what? I see the white guys out there dragging me. I know I can do this shit. I'm tall enough to. So I went to a parking lot and I started doing figure eights. And I remember the Japanese that was trying to show me, they put a soda can on the side of their damn knee. And they put some tape. They carry tape with them. They'll go in the trash can at the stops. They'll grab some shit, some cans out of there. They'll smash them, put them on the side of their leg, put the tape around them. I was like, damn, what the fuck? Okay. And then I found out when you go around a turn at nighttime, that can sparks. I said, oh shit, that's pretty cool. But I said, what about when that can wears down and that aluminum goes in your leg or something like that? They said, no, it's not gonna go through your leg or nothing like that. We flatten it out and we got the duct tape. It's not gonna go in your leg like that. You're not dragging on your knee to the point where the whole weight of the bike is freaking on your leg. And I didn't quite understand it until when I kept on doing the shit in the parking lot. I touched down. Once I touched down one time on the opposite side, okay? Let me educate you on something. The opposite side away from the throttle is the easiest side to knee drag on because it's away from the throttle. The side that's the most difficult is the one on the right side where the throttle's at, because to certain riders, they feel like, oh man, I feel tight. I feel, all congested. I feel like wrapped up when I gotta try to set up for a turn and keep my hand on the throttle. You know what I'm saying? And I learned how to touch down on the opposite side first, and then it was a little bit difficult on the right side and maintaining good throttle speed. And this is just a figure eight. I finally touched down on both sides, but that wasn't nothing because there was no cars. It was no nothing. So then I said, okay, I got to take it to the street. I got to find out if I can make this shit happen in the street. So when I went out in Japan, the streets are made of coral rock and cement. So they're a bit more slippery than the US American pavement. The American pavement is just real. It sticks really nice, bro. So when I started going out there, I said, damn, this motherfucker hard. And what I was doing, I was looking at the turn too much. I had good setup speed, man. Like, I used to ride way outside I ain't gonna lie, way outside the limits. To me, I didn't feel like I was in any danger because I had all the components on my bike. I had the best brakes. I had the best setup for my weight, power to weight ratio, all that shit. I used to go in there, I used to look at the turn. I used to think I was gonna fall off the motherfucking bike until I learned how to look through the turn. Once the nigga learn how to look through the turn and tap the brake just a little bit, just tap tap, and go in there, roll the throttle back, lean that motherfucker over, and you hear that puck say, that's what you want right there. You want it to be continuous. Roll up on it, get set up for the next turn, look through the turn, roll on the throttle. You straight. You good. And for me, I got addicted to that shit. People hit me all the time saying, man, I used to ride by myself. I used to go run. I did, man. I just felt like it was cool to do that because I understood that in the military, there were individuals who wanted to ride with you just because you can ride. But I was on a different type of motorcycle warfare. I was knee dragging and I was in the practice stages. I was trying to do something that I didn't see anybody else that looked like me did. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't want them getting in trouble going out here wrecking, because in the military, your ass gonna get in trouble. They will have you for reckless driving. If you went out with any other of your comrades and you wreck and you was out there doing some crazy shit, because everybody who wrecked and get put in the hospital, they say, hey, we got so-and-so from this unit. He crashed a motorcycle. They have somebody come over there and investigate. Hey, what were you doing? Who you was with? Oh, man, under the right anesthesia, them motherfuckers be singing like a Tweety bird. Well, in case you want to know, it was a black male, 6'3", 215 pounds. He's stationed over here. He rides a red and black and white Suzuki. Not I, said the cat. Hey, listen, I used to roll solo for a reason, because it was dangerous, man. It was super duper dangerous, even for me. And I used to ride during the daytime, and I used to have a 10 advisor, right? So what I clearly understood was if any Americans was gonna roll up on me, I knew it was gonna be people who I knew because I didn't stop for anybody. So I rode during the daytime, and my friend had introduced me to the Japanese, and I was over on the side of the road drinking a little drink because in Japan they have these places you can pull off, and they have vending machines. You can buy drinks and little snacks and shit like that, right? They saw me over there. They said, "Hey, Scotty-san, hi, genki desu ka?" You know, back then my Japanese was pretty damn good. So they said, "Hey, where you headed?" I said, "I'm headed up north. I'm practicing knee dragging." Oh, okay, all right. And you want to ride with us? And it was many times I said, "No, I'm chilling. I gotta practice. Why practice? The practice you get is gonna be here. They got broken English." I said, "You right, you right." But I passed up a couple of times, and the ride that did it for them to get me trusted within, because the Japanese just don't let Americans in their group because they just do stupid shit, was when I was up there at night chilling, and I was just at a stop, because it's this one stop you go to before you really hit the turns that's going to take you all the way damn near up north. And hey, not everybody make it back. I'm talking about the daytime. I was out at night, and they said, "Hey, you want to get in the back? We don't have our whole group. This group right here is fast. You can ride behind. You can be the last person." I said, "All right, cool, bet. Let's do it." I had my whole setup. I had my lights the way I want them. I had brighter lights than usual, of course. Japanese taught me that. I had race compound tires. I had the setup to, race suspension on my bike. I had everything right. I felt comfortable. So when we went riding, I rolled in the back. The Japanese, they bailed out. Boom. And I was sticking with them. I was like, damn, this big motherfucking 1100. I feel good. It's comfortable. And man, before we know it, we up north, and I'm still with them. So they didn't say nothing. They got off the bike. They didn't say nothing to me. They say, "Hey," they was talking to one another, and then they said, "Okay, we go back." They didn't have to tell me shit. Got in, boom, rolled behind them all the way back. This time it was a bit better. You know what I'm saying? No gap. One thing about the Japanese, they ride on each other's ass, because they know they've been riding together so much that they're not worrying about somebody breaking in front of them. I say, okay, I get it. They're not worried. They used to how the setups and the turn goes and all that, and acceleration on it. All right, cool. So I said, damn, I've been riding a little ways off the tail end of the last Japanese, because I thought he might hit the brakes and shit. And the only time they break it all is just tap, tap, and they go in. Entry speed, exit speed. Entry speed, exit speed, right? So I was riding on his ass the whole way back. And that changed everything. I was like, damn, I'm good. I'm straight. You know what I'm saying? I'm comfortable. When we got to a turn, another thing, when we got to certain turns that was knee drag, you have to be paying attention to that. You're not looking at the bike in front of you. You're looking ahead, and you're looking for the turns. When you're riding with it, it's just like a train. It's like a centipede. You know what I'm saying? It's just like a centipede, bro. And then it's like a Christmas tree. When they get to it and you got the leader, boom, them tail lights come on, and you'll see it go on, go off, go on, go off, just tap, tap, and they set up. You get used to the rhythm and flow. Man, I went on there with them for several rides, man. They couldn't tell me a motherfucking thing. The Japanese finally asked me, did I want to ride in the middle? I ain't gonna lie, my heart was goddamn. I say the middle. Scotty-san, you've been riding with us. Come on. I said it's more responsibility. You know what I'm saying? They riding on 250s, 400s. Them Japanese short, they like light compact bikes. They riding on 2 strokes in that motherfucker. They say, Scotty-san, ride in the middle. It's time. You ride in the middle. It was like time for me to graduate. So I said, all right, cool. I rolled in the middle of the pack. Boom, tight. Turn for turn, tight. Abs, man, my abs was killing me. I said, okay, this was about, I need to fucking breathe. I'm up here going in these motherfucking turns because I'm in the middle. I need to relax. Once I start to relax, man, it was over. It was really over because I felt now I didn't hear my bike running no more. I just seen the turns coming up. I didn't even hear the engine. It was just like the shit on biker boards, the tunnel vision, bro. I had it a little bit before riding by myself because I didn't have no distractions. But I ended up getting it riding in the group of Japanese because now I knew what my focal points was. Straight ahead and pay attention to the front guy and just let all your other mechanics do what they supposed to do. Your brake hand, your throttle hand, and your gears. And, you know, yeah, you got to lean off the bike. If you're looking at this picture, yeah, you got to switch. You got to make those shifts from side to side, bro, and moderate your throttle control. Bro, I changed levels when they finally asked me to ride in the front. They said, we want to see what's your speed in the front. You've been riding with us. This is the only way. And you know, people in the front, they die. What I'm trying to tell you is that if you're going at a certain speed and you're leading a group of guys where you're not braking like that, you're doing tap and you going in the entry speed. If you are not paying attention or you get complacent, the crazy part about it, you can fall asleep on that bitch, man. Like you can be going turn for turn, and you ain't hearing your engine, you just seeing turns. If you get complacent, man, and misjudge a turn, it's over. They finally asked me to ride in the front. And I wasn't as nervous as I was when they asked me to ride in the middle. But I took off and I just rode within my limits. Come to find out, when we stopped, the Japanese said my limits was damn fast. They say, you're fast on that 1100, especially when you come out the curve. You're already accelerating in the turn. And when you come out the turn, you already throttle back. And we was steadily together trying to keep up. Because once again, I was only 1100. That was the biggest bike in the group. And they say, damn, you know, you've gotten fast. That's what I'm talking about. You gotten fast. So that was like my family, man, for a while, y'all. You know what I'm saying? While I was over there, because I was over in Japan twice. I went back over there, real talk, just to, you know, ride again, just to be over there again. And, you know, I'll let it go from here, right? Then was my peoples. And, of course, I had some situations with some American riders where they tried to feel some type of way. They felt like I was when they see me out there with the Japanese, right? I was trying to tell them the rules. I said, listen, don't ride with us because I'm hanging out with them. They have special rules like don't kill yourself. I was being genuine. I said, don't kill yourself, man. Oh, man, what you think? You think we can't ride? I say, bro, y'all see me out here. Y'all don't ever see me ride with any other Americans besides these two other this Air Force guy. Whenever I catch up with them on the 600, and the black guy that was in there, they had the other 1100 that was married to the Japanese girl. I was like, custom and courtesies, all right? You just can't hop in a Japanese group and ride with them because, for one, you're not going to be able to keep up, and two, you might kill yourself. So just like the very reason why I didn't ride with Americans is that they don't get it. They don't understand other people's, you know, customs and traditions. And they didn't understand what I had to go through to even be in that position to ride with them. I like riding at night, but I was riding with them in the daytime. In the daytime on the weekend, you see a pack of Americans. And it's not always Americans that's in the service like that. That's troops. Some of them be investigators. Seriously, some of them be investigators. And I always said to myself, just because you're an investigator don't mean you can ride a bike. I knew the group I was in. I didn't have to worry about no Americans keeping up. You know what I'm saying? And that's one of the reasons like I didn't ride, because it's so many Americans that I knew of over there in the military period that died. Over 20 easy. Over 20 easy. Some bad accidents. Easy. And I never once felt guilty about not riding with them. I wasn't there to teach them. You know what I'm saying? And look, the crazy part about trying to tell them what traditions are in other countries is that they just don't want to listen. So it got to a point where anybody who was there in Okinawa, Japan at that time knows where this place is at. But, you know, I used to go through Ishikawa, man, and they had some very nice turns. I mean, very nice turns. And I remember the first time that a group of Americans that I didn't know finally seen me dragging the turns. And they was like, who the fuck is that? Damn, it's a black dude too. And that's the first time they actually found out that I can actually drag knee. Back then, it wasn't knee draggers like that, except the white riders. 2 white riders I knew that was in the Air Force. That's it. And I had the 1100 that you see in the picture. They had 600s. You know what I'm saying? They felt like I want a smaller bike, and it's easier than drag. It was, but I learned off heavier bikes. You know what I'm saying? I learned off the big boys, which was more difficult, but you know what I'm saying? I learned how to ride in them motherfuckers. And you got to get used to the turns with all that power in the engine. Anyway, that was the first time where a group of Americans actually seen me dragging. So when they was coming up, I'd already been there. I was nice and warmed up, all that shit. So when they rolled up, I took off. I was going down and they was coming up. I took off. I say, because I don't know who they are. It wasn't that they had Marine Corps on it. It ain't like they was Marines. They could have been Navy, Air Force, Army. I didn't know who they were, so I just took off. But words started going around like, hey man, that Marine that's on that Suzuki, we seen him dragging knee. They was talking to other Marines. They say, hell no. No. A black guy, right? Yeah. We seen him up there in Ishikawa dragging knee. No, that ain't. No, black guys don't do that. They're just like streetways. I'm telling you. And that's when word got out in Okinawa, because like I told you, when they saw me at night, they couldn't keep up. We'll take off and that's it. Gone into the darkness. And in the daytime, a lot more traffic. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have those problems with them because they really couldn't keep up. Plus, you know, it was just easy to leave them. But sometimes I went up there by myself to these little spots that I found out from the Japanese. And once again, I just have some me time. I just go out there and drag and shit up and down, up and down. And that one time, you know, the word got out. They seen me on there dragging this turn right here. And now granted, I end up having some guys, another 2 guys that stayed in the towers that had a camera and stuff like that. And when I went up there with them, all I did was I wanted to ride. At that time, I wasn't fucking with, you know, riding with Americans. But I did find out it was a couple Americans that could ride the bike, but they couldn't drag. So we went up there, and I say, man, I want to get a picture of this, dog. Man, you know how much shit that I done, man? I wish I could have got you to record. I didn't know you had a video camera. He say, bro, this video camera, man, it costs this much, and I got to wear a backpack. I say, that's what we got to do. So the guy that took the picture, I just happened to cruise up there, up north a little bit to this spot, Ishikawa, and he was able to get this one good picture. All the rest was too blurry. He didn't know how to set the ISO, and I mean the shutter speed and all that. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I'm like, damn, I wish I could have got more video, man. I had some legendary shit back then, man. I wish he could have got some video of me riding with the Japanese. Me riding down some of these infamous shit that you see on YouTube right now, or them drifting. I ran those freaking spots before they got too covered in tire rubber. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I ran some of those spots, man. You know, we used to ride behind the cars that was drifting a little bit. It was dangerous. But yeah, it was crazy. You know what I'm saying? That was over in Japan. The first time it happened over here was actually down at Paris Island when they had a industrial area over there, and somehow, some way, I had my bike sitting out there. I didn't have the cover to anything, and you know how you get back to America and they say, "Hey, we all going ride. You want to ride?" These cats know nothing about me. They don't know anything about me over in Japan. They don't know shit about me dragging. They don't know shit. They don't know what I was doing. They just say, "Oh man, he's riding." That's what he's doing. He's just riding like we are. So they want to schedule a ride. I said, "What y'all working with? What y'all riding on?" And then they was kind of taken back, like, "Damn, this nigga know his bikes." You know, he had one with a Kawasaki, one with a Zook, a couple of Zooks in there, Yamaha, shit like that. All right, cool. What y'all plan on doing? Y'all go here, this, that, and the other. So they told me where they was going. So I'm just chilling. At this point in time, I feel like I'm more experienced. I can ride in the back and just chill. I don't have to do shit. I ain't gonna lie, man. I had my ego, man. I had a halo and shit, man. My ego was up there, dog. I ain't gonna lie to you, yo. My ego was up there, bro. I rode behind them all nice and slow and shit. They took off down this long ass straight. You know, I got on the throttle a little bit. I just wasn't in it. You know, like I was on the drill field. I didn't want to get down. Like I said, I don't know. When I met you for the first time, I don't really get into it. I don't let them know everything. I just don't go all out. I was more experienced now. I was calm, level-headed. I just when I was riding around some Americans, I was like, man, I'm chilling. Because someone ended up crashing, man. The whole group is going down like you caused the accident. So, we were speeding here and there, you know what I'm saying? Doing what we do and all that. So it was one day where I said, hey, they supposed to have a lot of bikes over in this area that I ain't know if y'all want to ride. It's going to be on Saturday at this time. I didn't tell them anything, what area it was, but it was an industrial area where you can only do knee dragging. It wasn't no straight shit. I felt it was cool. It was the right time because, I was damn near off the street. I said, hey, man, we're going over there to this industrial area. I don't think it's going to be too many brothers over there. Most of what I see is white riders over there. I ain't even see any Hispanics, no Mexicans, nothing. I just seen white riders over there. And believe it or not, I had built up a pretty decent, group of people that knew who I was. I was the only brother that used to go through that dragging, man. You know what I'm saying? And they couldn't understand. They was like, you trying to say you learned this in Japan? I say, man. They say, man, I ain't never seen no black dude dragging. I say, I know, man. I know. I guess it's more of a rare thing than I thought. You know what I'm saying? So I asked my boys. I said, hey, let's go over here to this area. Play around a little bit. They thought we was going to an area where it's just gonna be straights. Went over there. First of all, I pulled up, right, and I had on my leathers. They said, oh, shit. Damn, dude. It's that serious? Like, yeah. I say, bro, this protection, man. If y'all look at the picture, I got a short sleeve shirt on, but I got leather bottoms. At that point, I was in my bag, man. I was in my shit. I wasn't worried about it. I had already wrecked, a couple of times already. Know what road rash felt like. Man, I was good. You know what I'm saying? My tires was like erasers. They were so soft. So we went over here in South Carolina, man. Went to the industrial area, and I rolled in that bitch. We went up to the parking area where the bikers hang out. All right. So I'm with about 4 or 5 riders, and we just chilling, and we watching the white riders drag, turn to turn, watching them drag and shit. And they was so amazed. They was like, "Damn, them motherfuckers getting it." See, they try to say, "Oh, that's the white boy shit right there." That's the white boy shit. They always doing some crazy shit like that. But what I was doing, I was just paying attention. I was like, I know that, I knew the guy. I said, okay, I know that guy. Okay, all right. I'm seeing these guys ride and ride, turn to turn and shit. And then they go in reverse. They'll go the opposite way and shit. Because if you just drag, if the turns are just off your left puck, that's all you're gonna get. So you really have to have enough people to be at both ends of the area to stop any traffic. Because once you go the opposite way, of course, you know what I'm saying, you're gonna be in oncoming traffic. Anyway, I say I'll be back. So what you doing, man? What you doing? I said I'll be back, man. Look, if they would have been paying attention, the pucks that I had on was already scratched up. So I went up there, took off, didn't drag anything. I warmed my tires up. Experience that a motherfucker. Warm my shit up. I took like 2 or 3 good little laps, warm my shit up. I didn't drag a motherfucking thing. I just wanted to make sure my tires was good. You know what I'm saying? I'm on a big bike too. Then I felt that they was good. That's when I started dragging knee, and I wasn't even looking at the Marines that I came with. This is the first time ever I really drug in front of Marines like that I came to the spot with. At that time, I really didn't care because they wasn't riding with me. They was over there in the parking lot. Boom, hit it. And dragging, getting to the next turn. And the cool thing about it, that they had a nice decreased radius turn right in front of the parking lot where you can really set up nice. Come out wide, dip into the inside, man, get that nice little touchdown and drag it for a good little time and then power out the exit. So I went around, I would say damn near probably like 7 or 8 times the loop, pulled up in the spot. I ain't never seen so many brothers with their mouth wide open. They say, damn, I ain't know you ride like that, nigga. You the only one I ever seen. Look, you the only nigga I ever seen dragging knee on a bike. I say, yeah, man. I just don't go riding with Americans like that because service members, especially because they always wrecking. I don't want them to go out here and try to do what I do, and they hurt themselves or kill themselves, and they got family and shit. You going down. The Marine Corps didn't play that shit. They'll send you up for NJP or court martial for all these charges. Conduct unbecoming. That's the first one. Or conduct unbecoming. You know what I'm saying? But they was like, God damn, nigga, I ain't know you could do all that shit. You was just up here playing around. I know you was in the back for a reason. Damn, and man, word spread so much, man. I mean, they had Black Bike Week going on in South Carolina. People just come like, hey, man, you got to go down to Black Bike Week and show them that you can drag. I said, man, Black Bike Week is just a cruise with a female on your back, nigga. It ain't no turns down there. See, you know what I'm saying? Man, you got to go down there, man. You the only brother I know that's dragging knee. No, I can't do it, bro. You trying to get me hemmed up, as we used to call it back in the day. Anyway, man, I just wanted to let y'all know that, man. The shit I was doing back then, man. I wish I would have had enough video, because that type of shit, having video would have absolutely been something to cherish this day and time, because for a long time I was one of the only brothers that anybody even knew about. They used to talk about my name in the Corps to my dude. Man, that mother, the only brother that I know that dragged knee as big as he is and tall as he is, man. He riding on a 1,000cc plus bike, going through turns, dragging knee, man. He's fast as shit. And I learned lessons though. I went over to California thinking the shit was sweet in some cases. You know what I'm saying? I was pulling up to some spots and, making some bets and shit on some riders, you know, to go to A to B and back to A, knowing that there was turns that they wouldn't be able to go through the speed I am and all that. Until one time I went up there for some good amount of money and them motherfuckers, they didn't pay me. They up there end up putting a blade on me and to my nigga, obviously you ride for somebody, you too experienced for this shit. We just average street riders and shit. You played us, you set us up. I learned my lesson, man. I said I did play them. Ain't that the game? You know what I'm saying? You look, motherfuckers start to pick out who you are, and you black too. And I'm up there in Palm Springs, Dragon. Motherfuckers up there seeing me in Oceanside at this spot. The nigga that's in the black and gray Jigster with a tinted helmet that don't stop for nobody. That got work done to his bike. That be eating boosters for breakfast back then. Shit. It was fun time, man. I know I just took a lot of time talking about that shit, but I'm going to let that go. I just had to let y'all know about that. Anyway, thanks for listening, though. Thanks for listening. Shout out to everybody that's in the chat, man. You know what I'm saying? Salute to everybody that pulled up. Sometimes, I just want to break the monotony and talk about something that's real life. You know what I'm saying? Shit like that is real life, bro. You know what I'm saying? Real life adrenaline shit, man. Adrenaline levels are different for everybody, but, people can get in cars. I ain't saying cars, you don't have to have adrenaline because you definitely have to know what you're doing, but you get your ass on a motherfucking moto. It's different. You'll be in the grade quicker than you can blink. All from goddamn squeezing the brake too hard. You know what I'm saying? I learned a whole hell of a lot. Never hit the rear brake unless it's a last resort. Use the shit out of your front brake. Those who ride bikes back then understood what steel braided lines was. Make sure you had the best brake pads, the best disc. Pay the hundreds to get that shit. Have somebody that's on the circuit. They had them shops over there in Cali and Japan and shit. Tune your shit. Put all the damn nice components on there so you can be street ready. But anyway, I just had to bring that up, man. It was fun time, bro. Fun time. I had to get it up. Okay, let me go to another video of, let's see, where is he at? This is the video of Kid Austin, right? And he has this fight coming up with Shakur Stevenson. And I ain't gonna lie to you. I said this before. I said he has some of the best training videos, man. Look at this training video. It's short, straight to the point. But he looks in tremendous shape. Videos like this expands your fan base. I don't know why people clown this, this guy as if he's an immature square or something. He got a baby. He's a father. People look at him just because his dad is a little bit loquacious. I mean, there's no problem with him, man. He's a grown-ass man. They was trying to say, oh, man, his dad don't let him use the phone. He does, man. He was on live stream using the motherfucking mobile phone. But my reason for bringing him up, man, his training videos, Shakur better not sleep on this dude. He has some of the best boxing training videos out there. Dude reminds me of them dudes that are in tremendous shape, but people always looked at them like, oh, they only good for sports. They're a jock. You know what I'm saying? They ain't smart. They just know how to do one thing and one thing only. They say that about savants, right? Savant is very much genius in one area, and all the other collective areas that a human being would be proficient in as far as intelligence, they're not. They're considered illiterate. It's not the case, man. I think a lot of cats is underestimating Kid Austin. I think somebody's gonna find out the hard way. I'm not. I'm not. I'm not. I'm not playing with. I think they're gonna find out the hard way. It's a lot of people that's not giving this kid respect, all because of what his dad said. But Kid Austin, he's not the one that's up here talking, crazy like this. He's active like that. He's not. But I heard. I don't know if it was Shakur. I think Shakur said that's why his name is the way it is. I'm like, what does that mean? Kid Austin, like, dude has a motherfucking baby. Like, you have to take over some fatherly duties. Real talk. I mean, I ain't gonna lie to you. When you get a baby, change some things in your life. Anybody who has one understands where I'm coming from. Baby, change some things in your life. This man is 22 years of age. I think Shakur is 27. Let me see. He may be 25, 26, something like that. And they calling this man a kid. Bro, I hope Shakur hands hold up. I hope they're not underestimating him, because I think this is going to be a solid scrap. A lot of cats don't want to even, hold a conversation with Kid Austin because they believe he's unproven. Well, everybody's unproven till they actually get the fight that they want, the breakout fight, right? I mean, it takes time, patience to get the breakout fight. That's the way it is. Moving on. As you all know, David Morrell is up next, right? Fighting Benavidez. I think Morrell is a bit overrated for all the hype he's getting with 11 fights. I don't know why people try to defend it, and they're not really David Morrell fans, just like Inoue. I think Inoue is acutely overrated. I will definitely recant that statement when he comes over here and fights some top names at 126 or whatever. I understand he's a 4-weight champion, and he's 2 divisions undisputed. But there's plenty of different ways to break down who he fought for undisputed at 118 and who he fought for at 122. Seriously, none of those names was on the pound-for-pound list. None of them. Now, I'm not saying none of them wasn't champions, of course. But I'm saying when it comes down to them being on the pound-for-pound list, it just isn't the same. Like, I can go on a limb and say the same about Canelo, but you gotta pick and choose your poison when it comes to listening to the critics. I mentioned Crawford and Spence, how special it was because Spence was on the pound for pound. When you go to Canelo Alvarez, Callum Smith, Billy Joe Saunders, and Caleb Plant was not on the pound for pound list. But Canelo was. But people tend to ignore a person on the pound for pound list all because they favorite fighter lost. Stephen Fulton wasn't on the pound for pound list. Pomales wasn't on the pound for pound list. Paul Butler at bantamweight wasn't on the pound for pound list. Nonito Donaire wasn't on the pound for pound list. So I'm not saying he's a bad fighter. I'm just saying it would be good for him to fight some of the top names over here since he's getting into these higher divisions. Now, I'm not a boxer, but I'm just saying I think a lot of things are going to come to the light. I've had some conversation with some people who are willing to say that David Morrell's resume is A-OK. And I'm telling you, you're full of shit. We can't sit up here for years upon years and criticize fighters like Tank Davis saying he haven't fought nobody, but yet he fought more notable opponents than on Morrell 11 fights. He only has 11 fights, yo. You're trying to tell me he has the championship experience and the name ability of a Benavidez? Y'all up here saying Benavidez gonna get slapped? What's going on with y'all, man? This dude Benavidez was dropped 8 years ago, I think. I mean, that's even questionable. He wasn't flatlined. It was just a flash knockdown. You know what I'm saying? So I look at it like, um, the Benavidez situation, I'm saying to myself, at what point in those 11 fights that Morrell has experienced, and why does boxing fans want to act like they're clueless that this is a talking point in debates throughout the YTC when they go and scrub fighters' resumes and they go from fighter to fighter that means something and who they fought, and that's what they use to determine their argument. All of a sudden, you get a fighter from Cuba, and they up here talking about, oh, Morrell, since 168. He's a Reggie Belt holder. He didn't do anything. Y'all criticized Tank for being a Reggie Belt recipient at 35 and 40 and say he ain't fought nobody, but you up here praising Morrell. Come on, bro. He's a 2-time Reggie Belt recipient. And y'all give him praise like he's been in there with championship fights. No, that's BS, bro. That's BS. Seriously. I don't know why Morrell gets all this praise, man, and his resume doesn't even reflect what you're trying to prove. I think Benavidez is going to show people because he hears all the doubt and people up here trying to act like he ain't did anything. I don't know why so much hate for Benavidez. Like, how long are you going to say somebody that was in the pandemic that popped for cocaine? I mean, come on, man. Y'all acting like babies, man. You know, act like this a daycare up in this bitch, man. This man paid the price, lost his titles, one for weight, one for drugs, and nobody's beat this man. Y'all talk about how he looked up there at 175 against Vostik. Come on, man. Vostik's better than any opponent that Morrell has on his resume. I don't even think Morrell gets past Vostik. Seriously, I don't think Morrell gets past Vostik, bro. Real talk. So I'm telling myself, man, Benavidez has much more experience than Morrell, and it's gonna stand out when they step into the square. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure it's gonna be a heated freaking face off. They already done had the pushing and throwing a belt. I'm surprised Dave Morrell wasn't fined for throwing a piece of hardware at Benavidez like Devin Haney was fined for pushing Lomachenko at the weigh-in. I mean, come on, bro. This man threw something at a fighter. That's how much he loved his belt. He threw the belt at Benavidez's head. You're trying to injure a fighter and cut him before you even step in the ring to get that beaten. I mean, what more do you want? What do you want as a benefit? To go in there and step in there and fight him, or for the fight to be delayed and you don't get paid? Shit don't make any sense, man. But I have Benavidez showing the boxing community and the world why Morrell is not on the level that he's on. And I'm very disappointed in the fight fans once again, who basically cater to this nonsense that 11 pro fights and nobody on that resume that can even compete. Who's on that resume is beating Caleb Plant? I mean, you have to ask yourself, who on there has Caleb Plant qualities? Yeah, man, that's where I'm at with it. Seriously. Shout out to Blue, everybody in the building. OG, what's good? Um, Shout out to Brooklyn on deck. He said, "NY we drag." I think that's AC. What's good? What's good, AC? How you feeling, bro? We drag with sparse. Yeah, dragging is. I don't know if you're talking about drag racing or dragging knee, because you got to be in a certain area with the turns and the roads that's not much frequent by traffic. You know what I'm saying? Eastern Parkway, Line Queens Run, Northern State Parkway, Garden City. Okay, my first bike, Muzzy 750. Okay, I know exactly what you're talking about. I know exactly what you got. Got on a Honda PR16. All right, 900. Shout out to Honda. You know, CBRRR 929. Yeah, the Repsol edition. Yeah, for sure. Never did a Yummy or Jixie. Yeah, I'm Zuki for life. I'm Suzuki for life, man. Yeah, the Shrag was the first fuel injection to come out. There, AC. Yeah, shout out to the Shrag, man. The Shrag was the first fuel injecting Suzuki to come out. Man, everybody, it was lightweight too. Man, shout out to Quinn in the building. Toby Bartlett on deck, Mr. International. I see you. Morrell got more power, better footwork, and a 4-inch arm reach. That's why I gave him a chance. Okay, thanks for the breakdown. Everybody, look, you have, hey, you have the right, there, BG, to be absolutely wrong. I respect your pick. I just don't see it playing out that way. You know, arm reach, yeah, you know what I'm saying? You know, if we must use freaking examples or analogies, you know, Fondora's arm reach is damn near 150 inches. You know what I'm saying? But when that punch gets through and it's timed correctly, you know, it's gonna be different. Yes, he has power, yes, but he's not going in there and finishing fights like Tank Davis. Tank Davis doesn't have the longest arm reach. He's short, compact, exhibits power rather, and he gets you up out of there. They say the heavier the division is the power, right? I just don't see where this is gonna happen. Like, I know the early rounds for Morrell is pretty much gonna be dangerous. He's gonna be his most dangerous in the early rounds. Real talk. Same for Benavidez. But I just think Benavidez has a better engine. The pace that he's going to set, if he can set it without getting put in a sling, it's going to be something different. Benavidez may come out there and fight different. He may not be posted up right there in front. Look, listen, it's all about strategy at the end of the day. If they're looking at your film and they see you posted up, squared up in front of fighters, they may have been working on just that right there. But you heard what Andre Ward was teaching freaking Benavidez, right? To use his jab more. The jab is going to set up a whole lot of other work that he can get away with. But use your jab more instead of going in there and just putting combinations together and, you know, putting yourself in vulnerable situations to get hurt or knocked down. So what if Morrell them just looked at it like, yeah, we're going to train for Benavidez coming straight forward and being right there squared up in front of us. We're going to be right there. So we're going to work on areas that we're going to, no. I hope they're smarter than that, because Morrell has power. He does have power, bro. He does, but his cardio is suspect. I'm serious. Morrell's power is suspect to me. I mean, cardio. His cardio is suspect to me, man. when he get to the mid rounds, man. And I haven't seen a fighter that's going to be able to press him like Benavidez, man. Ugh. Ah, man. I don't know, bro. I don't know, man. Yeah, I seen him with Ward. Yeah, I'm just saying he's giving some good insight. He's giving some good insight, man. Hold on for a second, y'all. bad, y'all. I had to help out with something right quick. It's gonna be an entertaining fight for sure. Yeah, it's definitely gonna be entertaining, man. Truth be told, that's what we expect, and that's what both fighters, in my opinion, you can't get a more competitive fight than both fighters being champions. You know what I'm saying? At one point in time, even the Reggie Belt holds championship status, even though it's only respected by certain voices who speak on it in that manner, depending on what fighter is holding the belt. But I just see a barrier of contradiction between Tank Davis and Morrell. And they are, two individuals who have held the regular belt. But yet Morrell is being looked at like, yeah, he's ready to face Benavidez. He's a two division Reggie belt. I mean, come on, bro. That shit don't disappear. Your criticism in the lower divisions, it does reciprocate up to the higher divisions, period, no matter how you look at it. It does. But I'm looking forward to it, man. It should be quite interesting. Real talk. This should be some good information for you. So, the full undercard for Saturday's light heavyweight battle between David Benavidez and Dave Morrell Jr. was announced by PBC today. Notable middleweight Jose Benavidez Jr., the older brother of headliner David Benavidez, would take on Danny Rosenberger in an 8-rounder on a non-televised portion of the event in T-Mobile. So his younger brother's going to be on deck. Also officially announced was an 8-round lightweight fight between top prospect Kamel Moten and Frank Saldivar. Okay. Saldivar 5-1, 3 knockouts. 28-year-old Cuban, they say. Kamel Moten 6-0, 5 knockouts. 18 years of age out of Salt Lake City. You know what I'm saying? Who now fights out of Mayweather Boxing Club in Vegas. He's a name to watch out for. I just hope he works on his defense a bit more. I don't want to see that young and punch drunk in his 20s, man. He get hit with too much. His sparring partners be on there and he just be laying into him because that's their, that's what they're getting paid to do. But I'm like, bro, you need to be working on your defense with that too. Just standing there pounding on somebody and they're not hitting you back. Man, come on, man. Bro, just somebody work on the defense with that kid, man. I'm telling you, bro. You only got one body, man. Don't try to, man. Remember I told you that. Super middleweight John Easter, 7-0, 7 knockouts, is in a 6-rounder against Joseph Aguilar, 6-2-1, 3 knockouts. And Gabriela Taliz, 3-0, 1 knockout in a 6-rounder featherweight bout with Abriel Anguano, if I'm pronouncing that somewhat kind of. But that's the PBC card. A lot of people have been trying their best to keep them above water. Salute to, those individuals that's on the undercard. They get some time in the ring, especially the older brother, Jose Benavidez. What else is on this joint? Like I said before, things are really gonna start to get popping this week. I mean, this next month, once this card kicks off, stuff like that. That Gary Antoine Russell and El Rayo fight should be an absolute burner. I'm looking forward to that. I believe this has to go down. Like for Antoine Russell to prove that he's here. He meant to be here. You know what I'm saying? He has to prove it. Rayo is already like taking a loss, right? Stoppage loss. Antoine lost to Apoilo, Alberto Puello. So both of these fighters, like real talk, Gary Antoine Russell more than anything, they've been talking about how talented he is. You know, he has the bragging rights against Jaron Ennis in the amateurs. You know what I'm saying? He has to win this fight, in my opinion. You know, you had the potential in the WBC to get that. You couldn't get it done. He got to rebel the Russell brothers, man. You know what I'm saying? His brother was the longest reigning WBC champions at one time. Antonio's still there. You know, he took his loss. Yeah, so it's not really about losses with the Russells. It's just all about solidifying the legacy, the family legacy. You know, it'd be good if he can get the title. So that'd be the second Russell brother to be a world champion. You know what I'm saying? So that's gonna be a good fight, though. I like El Rayo, man. I like how he went up there and beat Cruz. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. I like that fight. I think he did what he's supposed to. Yeah, he has to win. 2 additions sound good. It's gonna be an entertaining fight for sure. Yeah, man, it's like very scarce. You know, I'm waiting on. I refuse to talk about Camboso, him having a fight against Jordan in Sydney. Who cares? Like, you know, these foreign fighters, they you know, they come in here and lose and lose and lose, and people don't even really wrangle them like that, like they do the American fighters. I'm just saying, I'm gonna keep it all the way. A thou wow, man. You know, he's having a homegoing fight like he ain't never been champion for, like he's still undefeated, and I don't know what the heck, man. But like, I guess his people over there want to see him, man. You know, he the one who beat Tio. That's his claim to fame. He haven't did shit else after that. You know what I'm saying? He haven't did nothing else after that. People up here saying that the Jaron Ennis versus Stantionis fight, it don't make any sense, but I feel it does make sense. He has a belt. It does make sense. It does make sense. Well, I apologize, people, you know, for, you know, the first half. You know, sometimes I just want to break the monotony. It's not an icebreaker, but just break the monotony of talking about boxing. Being is not too much boxing to talk about unless you really want to talk about that particular topic. But I'm looking forward to this fight this weekend. It should be very, very interesting, competitive. And also here in the undercard, you know, it's good that the other Benavidez get a paycheck out of this too. His older brother. But yeah, y'all hold it down, man. Appreciate y'all pulling up. They got Camboso dressed up like an emperor on the advertisement. Yeah, man, like him beating Tio and becoming, you know, really undisputed in the franchise. Whenever that era, I don't think that era is ever gonna make it to fruition. I pushed that for a long time. I just don't see people talking about the franchise belt no more. But he beat Tio, who's a pound for pound fighter. At one time for beating Lomachenko, he did. But as far as him winning after that, like he lost to Devin Haney twice, stopped by Lomachenko, and then you had them 2 questionable split decision. Man, come on, bro. Come on, man. But anyway, shout out to the hottest chat in the MFN game. Appreciate y'all for being patient. Until next time, man, y'all hold it down. Peace.